Another day, another video. So I'm coming to you live from my motor vehicle, heading down to the office, and this seems to be the only time when I can really make a video and just think freely. So I'm doing this in the car. I hope people don't mind the sound quality. I'll try to speak up a little bit. You know, I know that these videos have the sound of my Hemi Dodge going on a little bit. So we'll try to overcome that by speaking extra loudly for now. Okay, so what the heck? What's going on today? Well, so one of the things that I've been noticing is there's a ton of unsubstantiated fear-mongering going on right now. I'm seeing all these posts go around the groups. FEMA has taken over the U.S. and we're going into the system, the beast system, and it's all over. We're done, and I gotta say, I don't think that's happening. I think it was probably attempted. May have been planned. Maybe there's some powerful groups that are holding out to try to pull something like that off. But ultimately, I do not think that we are going to go into the New World Order, Mark of the Beast system with everybody getting chipped and all the things, Agenda 2030 and all that stuff, Agenda 21. It's not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen. This Bill Gates, he's going to go down. So I think we just need to kind of hang on right now. So, there's a lot of people are starting to rise up and protest against these unnecessary lockdowns. There's states that have a county with 0 or 1 COVIDs, and their entire county is locked down, and they can't buy seeds, and they can't buy whatever non-essential products or whatever the hell they're calling, not essential and non-essential. This is not going to last. This cannot last. The people are rising up. Lawsuits are being filed. Class action lawsuits are being filed. Petitions are being signed. I give this about another week to 2 weeks before the entire lockdown collapses. People aren't just going to stand for it. So I can tell you just personal experience here in my area. We had a hospital that just closed the other day, a big hospital and a big hospital chain, because they don't have any patients. They just literally locked the doors and transferred the patients out, the few patients that were left. And this is a big, strong, one of the biggest hospital chains in the country, just closed one of their hospitals here. And so the market is reacting to this situation in ways that people don't expect. And you think, here we are, peak virus, and hospitals are big hospitals in major metropolitan areas are furloughing because they've canceled all the non-elective or the elective stuff. They're not getting any COVID patients, so why do you think all these nurses are dancing around on TikTok? They don't got anything to do. So the scam is revealing itself. All like I like to say, all flaws will be revealed in time. So they cannot hold this illusion. You got some of these mind-controlled celebs coming out and saying that chloral hydroxide, the miracle drug that cures it, I always have trouble pronouncing it, is harmful now. And you got the frickin' the glow-in-the-dark CIA coming out and saying that it gives you a heart attack, of all places. It's all the evil is showing itself right now to you in plain sight. So if you can't figure out what's going on, there's still a few people I'm like, back and forth on, Elon. I'm like, one day, the next day, I'm watching some of these guys, but everybody's pretty much revealing their real agenda right now, including the MSM, that it's just gone absolutely insane. Not that they weren't before, but to the degree of trying to kill you, basically. I mean, leaving you in fear, telling you you're going to starve, telling you that there's no cure, you're going to die, the hospitals are overrun, staging false flag style Sandy Hook style false flag propaganda. Just a ton of doom and gloom. So it's hard to stay positive. I know friends of mine, guys that are, they're warriors, and they're collapsing under the propaganda right now. They can't handle. They think the world's over. Oh, I got a friend of a friend that says that every senator and congressman wants to shut down for 12 months, and it's just Pence and Trump holding out, like crap like that all day long. It's BS. We're gonna be back to work here in a few weeks. There's guys coming out now. There's people coming out talking about the child trafficking rings being destroyed. I think that, and again, this was my theory from the last video. I think I uploaded the video. I talked about this. Is that I think they anticipated finding more rescuable people in this thing, and what they found was that it was possibly worse than they thought in some sense, and a lot of these people may or may not be able to actually be rescued, meaning that like I talked about in the last video, I think that they were hoping to find more people that they could actually rescue, and instead they're finding people that may be beyond saving to some degree. Maybe they're they're so badly damaged that so there's something going on there. I think these what I can tell you is that these field hospitals the Army built are empty. Okay, they're already dismantling them in some major cities. There's nobody going to them. Very, very, very few people in them. I think they're only taking very specific cases, probably people that are coming off of these, out of these trafficking rings and need to be but need to be kept away from the general population due to, for various reasons, we'll say. So, things are just kind of stagnant right now. People are, there's a lot of doom and gloom still. We haven't had a lot of rays of hope. I know that there's been some protests. There's been some talk. We're seeing a coalition form of states that we'll have to keep an eye on, because some of these states are going to try to impose surveillance measures that had not previously been in place under the auspices of reopening their economies. I'm watching Gavin right now. I'm trying to figure out Gavin because, of course, he's tied in. You couldn't ask for a guy that's more connected to the families than that guy. And then we see this cooperation. I'm talking about Gavin Newsom, of course. This cooperation that was going on with him and Trump. They seem to be kind of bro-ish for a while, right? I'm thinking, did Gavin flip, or is Gavin a plant, or is Gavin a good guy, right? And then we're watching him. I would say that I have a ray of hope that maybe he's a good guy after all, possibly. And I can't believe this is a guy I have not liked for 15 years. So I'm trying to hold out to think that maybe some of these people that we think are awful are not. Maybe there's a theory that Bill Gates maybe is is cooperating. I don't see that one. Wilcox said that he thinks that Oprah, who we all suspect is highly involved, is actually a good guy. Well, again, I was hoping that was true, because Oprah could do a lot of good, but there's we're seeing pictures of Oprah with the tether on, and so I don't know. It's unfortunately, as much as I've been hoping for there to be some really high level people that are working for the good side instead of the Illuminadonkeys, the NWO. I think that we're gonna find out. We will find out. Man, I was watching these videos the other day about these celebs, man, and just how wacky they're acting. And you got Lady Gaga all over the place right now, all over the place, shilling for vaccines. So everybody's true colors are coming out right now. So I'm holding out for a glimmer of hope here for some of these people that I think may be able to flip, or may have been flipped, or maybe we're infiltrating. Some people think AOC is a plant, and that the squad, some of those people are plants, right? They're actually bringing down the Dems from the inside. again, now I don't think AOC is has had the time to be corrupt enough to be one of these people that is really in trouble, but I'm having a hard time buying that one too. So I mean, these are all just theories at this point. So we'll keep an eye out on. We'll watch these people. We're watching very closely here. So that's kind of my brief recap of what's going on in my world. Watching very closely for any more information coming from the military, the Mercy and the Comfort, but those pretty much seem to be very not a lot of action from what we can see there. Not a whole lot of action. So everybody's kind of in a holding pattern right now. I was checking out a thing last night about this Comet Atlas again, and just a lot of weird stuff going on. And now they're closing all the observatories. We haven't heard the last of this story yet. Something bizarre going on there. They're saying, oh, it's breaking up. I was watching Marfugel, and he's talking about all these rockets that got launched at this thing, and then it started breaking up, and so on and so forth. Really strange times here. Really strange times. Jason Goodman had a Planet X researcher on the other day. What do you guys think about Planet X, Nibiru? I mean, this is something I seesaw back and forth on this thing all the time. It's like one of those topics where, I can see reasons why logically it makes sense. We're familiar with Zecharia Sitchin, but there's like record levels of disinformation on that topic too. It's like you got all these crazy channels with all the showing off lens flares and stuff, and it's just like, how do you decipher this? How do you use discernment in this situation, right? I mean, speaking from a scientific perspective, I can see how there could be an elliptical orbit and something could come every X amount of years and cause a disruption, and magnetically it wouldn't have to actually collide with the Earth to do that. It just if a planetary body larger than Jupiter came into our orbit, it would wreak havoc regardless of whether or not it hit us because of magnetism and gravity. So some people are saying that, look, we're on lockdown because this is going to happen now. There's just so much going on, and unfortunately we live in this world of just deep secrecy. There's just layer upon layer of secrecy and disinformation to everything that goes on, and so it's so hard to use discernment when you're fighting. And I think they've got. I really do believe that they have the disinformation figured out to a degree that is so beyond what we think it is. I think there's probably multiple layers of disinformation. So they have, they probably put the truth out, put the lie out, put something that mixes the truth and the lie. Probably do it in different stages. It's so the disinformation tactics are so complex now and so well planned and so well orchestrated that who really knows what happened with CV-19? Do you think it was was it a bioweapon? Was it natural? Was it inflicted on the Chinese? Did the Chinese inflict it upon themselves? Was there a third party? I mean, there's 10 billion theories on that, and every possible, we had the Chinese, I remember there was this, I was reading these stories about CCP whistleblower comes out and says that, everybody's dying from this thing, it's the most deadly thing ever. It just layer upon layer of opinions and disinformation and false narratives being thrown at us. And then you got the media, lying to you. And so, I mean, it's just, it's so hard to discern all that. And, here we are looking at people that claim to be intuitives and psychics to try to figure this out. I mean, there's just there's no stopping the, unfortunately, there's just no way to get around some of this disinfo right now that we're facing. So, really got to strengthen that discernment and that inner knowledge to have any shot at this, because I can't figure it out. I don't know. I couldn't say with certainty what's going on. Again, I do think that it's really interesting and strange that we're hearing that all these people's cell phones in China were canceled during the last couple months. Strange things happening all around the world, right? And then you have upticks in natural disasters. You have you've got a lot going on there. You got earthquakes, so you got these tornadoes that came through Kentucky. There's just a lot. There's always a lot going on, but it seems like right now there's even more. So keeping our eyes and ears open. But again, I have to stress that we got to find a way, and I'm speaking for myself just like anybody else, is that we got to keep the vibration up. This is a spiritual battle. This is spiritual warfare. There is an agenda to keep your vibration low because you're more susceptible to disease. You're more susceptible to making bad decisions. There is an unseen negative entities in the hidden hand that feed off this negative energy. They're creating a lot of loosh right now. Earth is a loosh farm. We are being harvested for loosh right now, especially in these times. So we have to fight back to win. We have to raise our vibration even in the most challenging and difficult times, which can be so hard sometimes. Especially if you're somebody that has a lot of negativity around you from immediate family. You're trapped in a house with a loved one you're sitting on your Facebook feed all day looking at the doom and gloom. It's hard. Sometimes you just got to shut it down. Shut it down, get into nature, throw some, like you've seen some of my videos where I'm out there, I'm out in nature, because I just can't take it anymore. It's just, you can sit around all day and flip through feeds and see, just catch people just trying to mess with you, and who knows what, if they're just fear mongers, or they're just, making something up, or they're getting bad information and spreading it around like it's the gospel. So a lot of spiritual warfare, high level right now, and we still have a few more hard weeks ahead of us. The economic ramifications of this have not really been felt yet to a high degree, but if you have the ability right now to grow a garden and get fresh vegetables on your own and fruits, I highly recommend you make that a big goal, whatever it takes, because I do see some chinks in the armor with the supply. The supply chain is broken, and I am seeing these farmers are dumping food. There is going to be more inflation, so it really behooves you to do everything you can to protect your family, to protect yourself, to become more self-sufficient, to disconnect wherever possible from the system. If you have the ability, if you're in one of these hot states, you can easily do solar. If you can get more control of your water supply, water filters. I mean, that all that survival stuff is out there, but I think now more than ever, as we come into this growing season, think about what your strategy is. If the grocery store becomes cannot satisfy your needs anymore for basic nutrition, what's your backup plan for that? Do you have the ability to garden? I'm building raised beds right now because I did a lot of research on this, and I'll just cut to the chase. I've had this calling for years. It said to me, you have to grow your own food. You have to grow your own food. This is like unmovable type of a goal. You have to grow your own food. So after doing a lot of research, I determined that raised beds are great because you don't have to bend over and weed. You can control the soil much better. They can go. You could put a raised bed right over a blacktop. Or anywhere. So cedar is one of the best woods to use for raised beds. Because it lasts a long time, and they don't treat it with a lot of chemicals. It's expensive, but you can find people selling raised beds. You don't need to have a ton of this stuff, but just a few raised beds, some good quality soil. Get your seeds. Get a bunch of those trays off Amazon for starting your seeds, and get a garden going, man. Get a garden going this year if you haven't. And I'm sure a lot of people do, but now more than ever, we need to have. We're at war. This is World War III. It's always a tradition in times of war that people turn inward and do their own thing, and I think they call them war gardens or something in the past in World War II. This is a war, so let's start thinking like that. Junk silver, regular any type of silver you can get your hands on for silver is still $20 an ounce if you can find it. Get your silver game on right now, because silver is a great hedge against this whole thing. Gold is a good hedge. Cryptos, Bitcoin, land, of course. If you own land, or you can buy land. And I know it's challenging with the mortgages and stuff right now, but fresh water. is a resource that if you can control fresh water in any way, shape, or form, and that's a big thing to have. That's a good investment right now, in my opinion. So be mindful of these things. Be mindful of your psyche and your mind and your soul, and don't let them win the spiritual war that they have inflicted upon you. There's a reason why CNN is all red. Red is alarm. Red is alert. It's all psychological warfare. And I hope if you haven't watched Out of Shadows yet, to get a sense of kind of what's going on with the MK Ultra stuff and the Mockingbird and all those things, I highly recommend that stuff, because again, it's just another way to kind of get up to speed on what's been going on. And I think having awareness is better instead of fear. So those are just some things. Those are some thoughts off the dome today, impromptu thoughts I had, and I wish everybody peace and love and joy. And we're gonna come out of this thing stronger than we've ever been, better than we've ever been. There's gonna be some surprises along the way, and look at if nothing else, think about that we just were given access to a hidden miracle cure in this H drug, can't say it, hydro. They're saying that treats Lyme disease now. Lyme disease was one of the things I was concerned about. I'm like, man, this looks like, it really does look. Look up the conspiracy theories about Lyme disease and where it came from. And I've been hearing bad things about it, and to know that that's one of the ways to treat it is huge. So I was really happy to hear that. If we have this, I didn't know people were treating lupus with that either. So some of these, like you said, cures exist. I think we were just given one shining light out of this whole thing, is we were just given the knowledge of a great cure, and I do believe that there's vibratory, rife frequencies and even better stuff. But for right now, for the time, as I sit here today, knowing that I could, if I ever got Lyme disease, I could treat it with that miracle pill, and that's been out for 60, 70 years. Watch who's shilling against that pill. That's a real good indicator of who's playing on what side here, because the people that are telling you that it's got all these horrible side effects, like Rita Wilson, for example. If you couldn't ask for a more Illuminati slave than that, right? So, you could, but so watch who comes out against that, because that's a good sign right there. That pretty much, that's all you need to see right there. You got plenty to go work with right there. So, peace and love to everybody, and we're gonna pull through this thing and come out the other side stronger than ever before. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Take care.